If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, bench warmers. We are glad you are tuning in for a little bit of bonus content this week. We got back on track. We do have some more playoffs to talk about. Last time we spoke, it was previewing Game 6 of the Colorado Avalanche Seattle Kraken, plus a little bit of Game 1 of the Nuggets and Suns series so far. Today, we get to continue to talk about the Avalanche and Kraken series. That moves on to Game 7, taking place a little bit later on tonight. So we'll get into a little bit of recap and some preview regarding that game. But we are going to give plenty of time to the Nugget series as well. That's already into the second round, and they took care of business the other night. Niko was in attendance inside the building, so we'll get his thoughts and opinions on that. Before we get into everything, make sure you're following at FEOTB Pod. Tell a friend, check us out live. If you're checking us out live, let us know how confident you are in Game 7 tonight down below in the comments, and be sure to listen to our regular episodes as we move forward as well. Follow the Variety Sports Network, all of that good stuff. Niko, we live to fight another day, and the Nuggets so far are as advertised. Things are going. We're not going to
as advertised, because no one's advertising this team as we advertise. Let's just keep that perfectly clear, because of the amount of people. I believe there was 2 ESPN writers that picked the Nugs to win the series out of the 50 they have. So no, not as advertised, as we advertised. The Nuggets have played as we advertised.
As we advertise. Okay, as we advertise. But either way, things have been going well so far. I don't want to get too far out ahead of it. I don't want to be jinxing it. I don't need to be the source of a jinx or anything like that. But it does seem to have ramifications. It does seem to maybe be writing itself to the point where we might not have to worry quite as much as maybe we had in the past. This is still going to be stressful few weeks. It's not going to be easy on either side by any means, but for now, things are moving in the right direction. Guys are putting in the things that they need to put in, and it's benefiting. Both teams are benefiting right now as to where we stand. But we're going to start off with the Nuggets and the Suns series. You were there live. Just talk a little bit about the atmosphere pregame. Is the rest of the Nuggets faithful? Are they treating this series like you, where it's a full-on revenge series?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's zero doubt about it. The building was rocking. There was look, from the opening tip, it was a late arriving crowd. The traffic has been horrendous on I-25 getting to Avs and Nuggets games. I'd expect the same tonight for Game 7, so it'd be a late arriving crowd. The building was packed top to bottom. And from the opening tip, the building was rocking. Like I said, I think everyone knows the ramifications of KD versus Jokic, Devin Booker versus Jamal Murray. Everyone's realizing how big of a series this is. And seeing what the Western Conference is shaping out to be right now, this could have very, very big ramifications. Whatever the fuck it's called. Ramifications in regards to NBA Finals, who's hosting the NBA Finals in the West. Who will be the West representative. So, like I said, that building was rocking. Like I said, it had big game feel. I haven't heard that building that loud since, I want to say, the Christmas Day game. And that Christmas Day game, obviously, against the Suns, overtime game winner with the AG dunk that we know so well. So that building was on its toes the whole game. Every dunk, every three, every Jamal Murray step back, Jay, it did not matter. And the Denver Nuggets fed off it 100%.
Well, I mean, looking at the box score here, Jamal Murray, 34 points, Nikola Jokic, 24 points, Aaron Gordon, 23, MPJ, 11, KCP, 10. You were getting production out of the full lineup. Your starters were Bruce out Brown, there and they were going. Bruce Brown also. Yeah, Bruce Brown ended the night plus 21. Every single person from your starting 5 were in the plus territory for plus minus. And just comparing that directly, I know that sometimes that doesn't tell the story of the game, but Kevin Durant minus 20, even though he scored 30 points.
Yeah, 38 minutes for Kevin Durant minus 20, and I believe it was 40 minutes for Devin Booker minus 18.
Yeah.
That look. If you think that's going to happen again, you are this series isn't going to go more than 4 or 5. Like, that could not happen again. Kevin Durant having 7 turnovers too. Like, they were a detriment to the team on the floor. Plain simple. Like their whole team was. Like what did I say? What did I say in the pre-show on Friday? Devin Booker, Kevin Durant will not beat this team. It will be Chris Paul. It'll be DeAndre Ayton. It'll be the group around them because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker will get theirs. There's no stopping Kevin Durant. It doesn't he's been playing in the league since 2007, 2008, whenever it was that he drafted, and no one still has an answer for his offensive game. But what you can do is minimize the better looks he'll get, and you minimize those, and you make Chris Paul, that bum, beat you. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Because when the Suns all of a sudden had some sort of momentum, before Mike Malone had that timeout in the third, I believe it was the third quarter, maybe the fourth quarter. Chris Paul was doing the pick and roll thing that he did 2 years ago to us, and they just completely went away from that and said, "Nah, you don't have it." Like I said, the game plan for the Denver Nuggets fits more perfectly against the Phoenix Suns than it does the Minnesota Timberwolves. Plain and simple. Defensively, the matchups are easy. It's not easy. Not easy, I tell you that. They are easy to see because the question marks last series were, do we put AG on Cat with that size? Do we put Zeke Naji in the game? Do we put DeAndre Jordan in the game? Where does Jokic match up defensively? Is it Cat? Is it Gobert? Is it Kyle Anderson? The matchups are as plain and simple as possible. You have 3 bench guys coming off the bench, and Christian Brown, Jeff Green, and Bruce Brown. That each 3 can guard Booker and KD, right? All 3 of them can. So if KCP is not having a night like he was, you throw Bruce on him. If AG struggled with KD, you put KD's old friend that he came into the league with back in Seattle, Jeff Green, on him. Like the defensive matches for the Denver Nuggets team is matchups very, very well. Very well.
With that, I mean, what are we able to expect from this Denver Nuggets team moving forward? What are the ways that the Phoenix Suns are going to now look to combat and get themselves back into this thing? Because I think it's between these 2 squads on the Western Conference, and I think they both know it too. Whoever wins this series is going to probably have the easiest path to make it to the finals and then figure out who's coming out of the East. So what is Phoenix going to do? What should the Nuggets be looking for in the response game coming up? Tuesday is the next game?
Monday, tomorrow.
Monday.
So first things first, the Denver Nuggets won't shoot 50% from 3 again. Okay, so that probably won't happen again. But what I can expect though is a much better game from Nikola Jokic. He was 9 for 21, and we won by 20 points. I mean, if that doesn't show sustainability to this team and not fucking around, I don't know what does. Your two-time MVP, your best player, one of the best players in the world, goes 9 for 21 from the field, and you're able to demolish the Western Conference favorites. Because it's not you. The Phoenix Suns have been the Western Conference favorites since KD got traded to Phoenix. Hell, they've been the NBA champion favorites since KD came to Phoenix. And plain and simple, the Denver Nuggets are going to have to find ways to get those other guys in rhythm. Michael Porter Jr., 11 points again. Like I said, well, wait, KD and Devin Booker did not have their A-plus game. Okay, they have the A-plus game. It's a 5-point game. Nuggets are still winning that game. Plain and simple. You had a D performance from from DeAndre Ayton. You had an F- performance from Chris Paul in the game, and that's what's going to happen. Plain and simple. Because you want to throw out Jock fucking Landale defensively against Jokic. That's who we're throwing out there now in the playoffs.
Well, I bet you DeAndre Ayton's head isn't right. That mental capacity is not there.
DeAndre Ayton looked lazy as fuck, too. Not contesting the defensive rebounds. Jokic had more offensive rebounds this game than DeAndre Ayton had in the entirety of the ball game, offense or defense. Okay? So if the Suns want to win this series and go back to Phoenix 1-1, they have to have Ayton and Chris Paul step up. Have to. Because, look, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant will win a game themselves. They probably will. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to happen in our building. I expect it to happen in Phoenix. You're going to need Chris Paul and the DeAndre to step up because if you're relying on Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig, Jock fucking Landale and your bench to give you some boost, it's not going to happen. It's going to be the third and fourth stars on your team, plain and simple. So I expect this game to be a much closer game. It absolutely will be. I absolutely do, and I think that they'll be much better offensively. The Suns will be, which is crazy to think about because they still scored over. I believe it was over 105 points. I believe. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I think that the Nuggets defensively need to keep up the momentum. Look, everyone's doubting you. Everyone's doubting you. Everyone is. You have a performance like you do in game one. Look, I ain't happy. Job's not finished. Job is not finished. Put these bums away. Like everyone wants to disrespect you. Make people respect you. Make people realize who they're playing. Make people realize who the hell you are. Because right now, every beat writer, every person saying, "Oh, KD and Devin Booker didn't have a game." 35 from Kevin Durant, 20, I believe 3 from Devin Booker. I don't know what else you're gonna do. Do they need to drop 50 to win a series? Do they need to drop 50 each to win a series themselves? Seriously, that's a serious question I have to ask. Because if they do, it's not going to be sustainable to do that for over a 7-game series where you now have to beat the Denver Nuggets twice in a row.
And that's where things come into play. That's what the Phoenix Suns have run into for the last 2 years, where their stars have to score 50 points. Otherwise, they're not able to win these big games. That's why they didn't win the NBA Finals.
Healthy teams.
Yes, against healthy teams. Against
teams
that they're not able to exploit. They struggle trying to figure out ways to beat them more in more ways than one.
And you saw Chris Paul taking a shot at Jamal Murray on a breakaway, too, because he knows he doesn't have the wits and he's not good enough to stop Jamal Murray. He knows he's not.
Yeah, he's old enough now, though. That's just veteran savvy.
It's not even veteran savvy. There's no veteran presence. He's not won shit in this league. He hasn't won shit. The only person that's done anything over there is Kevin Durant. No one else has done anything in this league over there. No one. Chris Paul, great tenure, long tenure, going to be one of the leading assist guys in NBA history. As far as I'm concerned, still ain't won shit. Still ain't won shit. You got to find ways if you're Phoenix Suns to injure a guy because the last 2 series that you've played against healthy teams, the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat you in 6, and the Dallas Mavericks, who embarrassed you on your home court. So you're going to have to figure it out. There's going to be some serious questions because right now the mental attitude for the Denver Nuggets is job's not finished. And the Suns' attitude is like, holy fuck, who did we just poke? What bear did we just poke? And you just poked a massive one and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets.
Let's take a look around the rest of the NBA. All second-round matchups are set now. Golden State does defeat Sacramento in 7 games, wins that series 4-3. The Lakers on the other side of the West also beat the Grizzlies. So we have a 7 versus 6 matchup. The Warriors back with home court advantage, like we were mentioning, was the possibility. Yeah, you were right. Memphis was frauds. I think this is a good time because they need to take a victory lap.
It's crazy. I said this in January, Jimmy. When did I say that? January?
Whenever they did the first down the tunnel when they were dancing, whenever that was. It was first time I remember them being relevant.
People were like, "Oh, you got to worry about Memphis catching you." I'm not worried about Memphis. They don't scare me at all.
Yeah.
Like I said,
and they shouldn't have.
The 3 teams that I said that scared me in the playoffs, or 3 of the 4 teams that I said scared me in playoffs, are left. The Suns, the Lakers, and the Warriors. I added the Clippers in there, but obviously the Clippers lost to one of the other teams, the Suns. So the 3 teams that scared me in the West were those 3 teams. Plain and simple. And I hate to be the breaker of, I was tell everyone, I was right. But Memphis doesn't have no character, and you poke at the bear, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, right. That's the ultimate ball don't lie. When your star player is out at the mid-range local establishment for females with guns and money, and that's what you're focused on, especially after you lose a game on the road. Your integrity doesn't hold as that of a champion. You don't show me much like, when adversity strikes, when LeBron is, he can still put it on people. He can still make people feel him. When he is going to be able to do that, your team doesn't have the ability to respond. You didn't have what it takes in your gut to reach down deep and really come back and make Jimmy, that even a fight. 4-2.
They got 40-pieced in Game 6, by the way. See,
Well, I mean,
Dylan Brooks
now they can give him some respect.
now Dylan Brooks can give him respect until he got 40 on his head. It was very fitting. That's all I'm gonna say. And I hate talking good things about the Lakers, but it's very fitting.
They were it's the worst situation ever because they turned LeBron into a likable figure in that first round. I'm sure he's going to do something in this round to make it so. Well, actually, it's going to be tough because he's going up against the evil empire.
You still hate both teams. Like it's
battle of it's battle of evil empires. It's like when Britain and France had the war of 1812 or whatever. I'm sure that I'm wrong in that, but when Britain and France had their major war, this is probably what everybody else felt like. I don't really like either side. I don't care who wins. Just beat the shit out of each other, and we'll pick the scraps of whoever else is left. That series against the Lakers, what kind of matchup do you think that's going to be? Who do you think has the upper hand?
In my opinion, the Warriors should beat them. In my opinion, Steph Curry dropping 50 in Game 7 today, and this Warriors team just overall, I think, still a far better team. And it's not really saying a whole lot because the Lakers have two guys and they have a bunch of role players. Golden State Warriors have one guy, possibly a second guy who went 1 for 11 at one point in the game today from Klay Thompson. So I don't know. I would say Warriors because I think that they're just better. And I think that they could. I don't think that the Lakers can match up defensively with the Warriors. Plain simple. I know I sound like a fucking broken record here with these defensive matchups, but these 7-game series are fucking chess matches. Plain and simple, they're chess matches. It's a game on game basis of how you defend who's going to guard when. I learned that from watching the Heat and watching Spo and watching when Chris is on the Heat. Plain simple, like Chris didn't play 2 of those NBA Finals games that they won against the Spurs when he won the ship. Because at the time, Tim Duncan was not playing the second unit, and they were giving bigger minutes to Thiago Splitter because he was great defensively in the middle, trying to block shots and do all that. So Chris was not necessarily needed. You were able to keep small lineups with UD and Chris Bosh at the 5. And now you look at this. Warriors series versus the Lakers. Anthony Davis is going to have to be the guy here. He's going to have to be the guy, plain and simple, because it's going to be Anthony Davis versus Kevon Looney, who had 18 fucking rebounds today in the third quarter. I don't know what he finished with, but it was crazy. And I just think that the Warriors have more firepower, and the Lakers just don't have it, in my opinion. I don't think Austin Reeves is going to drop 40 again or 30 again. I don't think D'Lo has it in him to guard Steph or guard Klay. So give me Warriors winning the series. I'll say 5. I think 5. Warriors in 5. Because I think that the Warriors are much more established, and I think the Lakers were still I think last series, Lakers were just ready to beat them. That team was ready to beat the Grizzlies.
I wouldn't mind that at all, especially, now being in the content creation game, having the Warriors get to the Western Conference Finals, then possibly having that Warriors, I'm not going to say anything, but you guys know what I'm mentioning. The content, the back and forth, the way that we'll be able to combine live shows after the game.
Saying it's happening. It's not happening.
We're not saying it's happening, but if it does happen, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world is all I'm going to mention. Because I do think, that is a tough matchup for
the Denver Nuggets have to go through teams that have literally broke their back.
Yeah.
Suns 2 years ago, Warriors last year, and look, the start of the Steph Curry dynasty started with him beating the Denver Nuggets as a 7 seed versus a 2 seed when we had the second best record in the NBA. Okay, don't forget that series where Iguodala was on our team giving plays to the Warriors. That's what started this all. Started this whole Warriors dynasty thanks to the Denver Nuggets and Danilo Gallinari and Ty Lawson. So like I said, you have that chance, and then you have the fucking evil empire the other evil empire, I like to say, and the Los Angeles Lakers that have beaten you twice in the Western Conference Finals, twice. So, chance to right some ships. That's all I'm going to say. There's a chance.
Darren, Tyler, hopefully everything works out and that we get to have that little fun bit of content back and forth. For the Eastern Conference side, we talked about the Heat taking out the Bucks last week, the Knicks and beating the Cavs. So right now we have the 5-8 matchup on that side of the Eastern bracket. The Knicks now down 1-0 after the Heat won the first game of that series. And then the Sixers and the Celtics, that series starts tomorrow on Monday as we are talking about this. the Celtics do survive. They advance, beating the Atlanta Hawks, and now we get that 2-3 matchup. So technically, pretty much the mirror image of what we see on the opposite side with the Nuggets and the Suns matchup is that Celtics and Sixers matchup. Both those teams think if we win this one, it's almost a cakewalk to the finals.
Which I wouldn't necessarily that just because of Jimmy Butler and what he's done in the playoffs, especially after what he did game 1 today. My God, the Knicks may be done at 4. Is all I'm gonna say, because they don't, unless Julius Randle comes back, the Knicks don't have any answers for Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Max Strus and company. Okay, in my opinion, they'd be lucky to get it 6, maybe 6 just because he can win on home court. But yeah, Miami will roll through them in my opinion. And then you have Philadelphia and Boston where Embiid has an LCL sprain. Funny enough, he's injured again. All that processing and all that game management that you all took place, right? Where you're missing games against the Denver Nuggets because he's dodging players because of injury. It's funny how that load management paid off for you guys. Second round matchup where he more than likely will be receiving the MVP this week. There's zero doubt about it in my mind. Like I said, we have bigger goals. We have much bigger goals than winning the MVP, unlike you guys do. So Embiid can accept his MVP in street clothes and Philadelphia and accept it in a suit on the sideline. So plain and simple. I don't care. You can have that trophy. But Boston is ready for you. Boston is very ready for you. They fucked around. They absolutely fucked around. That series against Atlanta shouldn't have gone more than 4. You should have knocked them out way quicker than that. But I think that they're a little more tested. And Philadelphia has had a week and a half off. And here you are with Embiid's injury getting worse over that week and a half off, I guess. Crazy. Just crazy. It's like I'm a prophet, Jimmy. It's like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to ball, because I've watched way too much basketball in my life that literally I could count the years amount of not months, not days, probably years of hours and years of days and hours of basketball I've watched my entire life. So yeah, I would expect Boston. I expect maybe 7-game series. Because when Embiid comes back, I think that Harden may win a couple games himself. Not Embiid, Harden will, and then he'll leave them. So give me Boston in 7. I do think it's a long series because it's the best 2 teams in the East left. But Boston wins the series, absolutely. If Embiid wants to already start complaining about an injury, yeah, Boston will win this game. And win the series.
It's poetic justice 100% because the way that Philadelphia fans tried to go after Jokic saying, well, this is your MVP, back-to-back MVP. He's never gone past the second round. Well, right now, your MVP.
Your MVP doesn't even want to play in the second round.
He doesn't want to, but you have the possibility of your MVP accepting the trophy, either one after you get beat in the second round, because I don't know when they're going to – I don't know when the date is that they're going to reveal it.
I think it's this week because last
probably
year
this week.
The second round.
But – that would be hilarious if he wasn't even suited and playing in the game that he gets his MVP. Oh, really? This is your MVP? Couldn't be me. Could be my MVP.
Well,
might be your MVP.
My MVP was in a horse stall in Serbia, enjoying life. Your MVP is worrying about an injury that he's had for a week now, a week and a half after that he injured himself. After a week and a half off. Interesting, very interesting.
No, I think the 76ers Celtics, once that thing gets going, we're going to see very quickly whether or not Philadelphia is going to have the mental toughness to push that thing. Because if they don't, it's almost
Boston has the mental toughness.
It's almost written in the stars.
Yeah. Boston has the mental toughness that Philadelphia doesn't. Plain and simple. So like I said, that's why I expect Boston to win.
I think I agree with you. I think Boston's going to win that one. I expect it. And then I expect Boston to be able to beat Miami, but I don't know. If a player gets this hot, is one player able to get you all the way through? I know that LeBron used to do that, but in my opinion, Jimmy Butler is not LeBron. He's Jimmy
playing LeBron level
to that. He might be playing to LeBron level, but can he finish out the story? Because this is almost like I'm just waiting for when it's going to become unstable. I don't think it's stable right now, but when is it going to break?
The only thing unstable right now is Jimmy Butler's mindset, because he is a lunatic fringe that is telling anybody, give me your toughest battles. I want to lose the playing game on purpose just so I can knock down Giannis. Let me be down by 15 in game 1 in the first half just so that I can go up and come back and beat the living shit out of New York in Madison Square Garden against my former coach and Tom Thibodeau. look, I think Jimmy Butler can do it. I'm gonna tell you right now, if let me make that clear, if we get a Heat versus Nuggets NBA Finals, I'm gonna lose some friends. There's a good chance I lose a friend, and then we may lose a reoccurring guest. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. There's a chance that may happen, but in the long run, Jeremy's my brother, so it probably won't. But I think that they really do have a chance. I think that they beat the Knicks in 5. I really do. I think, and you rest yourself up to a point where you're healthy and ready to play against Boston or Philly in the second round. You have a good chance. You absolutely have a very good chance.
Before we move on, is there anything else that we need to talk about in regards to the NBA so far on this playoffs run? Obviously, we're looking forward to what's going to happen in this Suns and Nuggets series.
Breaking down game 2. I do think that the Nuggets will win. I don't, like I said, I expect a 5-point win. I'd be very shocked if it's another double-digit win, unless the Suns fold with 5 minutes left again. I think that the Denver Nuggets do squeak out a win. I think that you see a much better performance from Chris Paul. Actually, no, fuck Chris Paul. You see a much better performance from DeAndre Ayton. And I think Devin Booker, Kevin Durant both drop 30, and I think it's a much closer game, but I think Denver Nuggets still win. I will be in person at game 4. I will be in Phoenix for game 3. I won't be at the game, but I'll be at game 4 in Phoenix. So all I'm going to say is it'd be very funny if the Nuggets went up 2-0 and possibly 3-0 going into game 4. Is all I'm going to say. It's going to be very funny if I be in that building. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh boy, we're gonna we might have
I'm not happy either. I'm not happy either. I'm not fucking happy. I want to beat them by more. I think this team is so much better than them. Plain and simple. I want to beat them by more. I want to keep doing that every single game to them because I think they're inferior to us. Okay. I really do think that they are. So, like I said, I'm not happy. I want to keep this up. I want Jamal Murray flurry to keep going. It's not even a Murray flurry anymore. It's a Murray fucking blizzard. And it's not bubble Murray anymore. It's just Jamal Murray. Okay.
It's just
that's who this guy is.
He's taking that step. He's taking that step.
It's ain't no bubble fraud. This is who he is. Okay. So yeah, I expect a game 2 win. And then all you gotta do is win one on the road. Win one on the road and bring it home and finish 5.
Those 2 games that we have coming up tomorrow night, the Nuggets and Suns game 2, and Sixers Celtics also taking place on Monday night. Then Tuesday, the Lakers Warriors and the Heat and Knicks will both start off with their the Heat and Knicks will play their second game, and the Warriors and Lakers will kick off that series on Tuesday night. All 4 of those games are on TNT. And yeah, sprinkled in nicely. If I were like you, Niko, and I really like basketball all this much, it would be hard for me to say that this time of the year wouldn't rival, that college football, the bowl season into the playoffs, right into the Super Bowl. This is like jam packed, and you get daily basketball playoffs.
Jimmy, we have 3 game 7s right now. Today, we had 3 game 7s today. One just happened. One playing right now, and obviously one later tonight for the Avs. I mean, fuck. I have friends going to fucking watching baseball right now. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? It's like if I were truly watching the XFL playoffs. Really?
I'm sorry. Baseball only matters in fall. Okay, that's why it's called the Fall Classic. I could care less what the Rockies score today was. Okay, and it's funny because the Rockies, I think, are playing the Diamondbacks because I saw some Diamondbacks gear. Or some Suns gear in like some of the pictures of my friends who went to the Rockies versus D-backs game. So it's funny that both of the Arizona teams are here in Denver playing right now. But no,
we won.
I'm not watching. I'm not
Niko,
watching.
We're that much closer to double-digit wins on the season.
All right, game 7 talk now, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the people who cared. I guess I don't even really care all that much. The Rockies did win.
Look, if you live in Colorado right now and you're actually paying that much attention to the Rockies, I feel bad for you because there's 2 fucking great teams playing right now. Okay, it's all I'm gonna say is if you're that dedicated to the Rockies, kudos to you. But you need to be watching the other 2 teams right now because they deserve your respect.
We need to be paying attention to things elsewhere. Stanley Cup playoffs. Right now, we have 2 matchups or 1 matchup set, 3 other teams into the finals or into the semifinal round of this thing. And then we obviously, like Niko was saying, we have a few game 7s that are currently underway. Florida is leading Boston as we speak.
3-1
Right now,
choke
1-0.
job, Boston. 3-1 choke job, all leading up to a possible Leafs Cup run, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Toronto.
We have plenty of storylines to get to because Toronto, Carolina, Dallas all punched their tickets to the second round. Still waiting to see who they're going to play. We do have Vegas and Edmonton that know they are playing against each other in their semifinal round, and then New Jersey, New York. That game. Still, they have to get to a game 7, and the Avalanche and the Kraken. Are the Rangers and Devils tomorrow? Is that when they're playing their
Rangers,
game?
because they played yesterday. Rangers and Devils are tomorrow.
That's kind of shitty. Otherwise, if I were the NHL, I know that the players hate playing back-to-backs. How do you not have 3 game 7s all in one day?
I mean, that'd be unreal.
Especially because a few of these series, unlike it's not the Avalanche and Kraken series because we know those two teams.
Well, Minnesota won, they would have had it, but Minnesota lost in 6.
Yeah.
Poor Minnesota lost both their teams in the playoffs.
Are we really saying poor Minnesota right now?
I'm not.
Are we really? Minnesota. Because you know that behind. Well, actually, now I think since the Leafs won, it's been Minnesota for the longest first round playoff drought. They now take over that mantle. I'm not saying anything that.
Pretty sure the last time they won, it was against us. I'm pretty sure it was the last time.
Oh, it is. It is.
13,
and
so.
The last time that they were in contention to win a Stanley Cup was 2003. They made it to the Cup final and lost that year. I was listening all about it this morning on Tell It As It Is. So shout out those guys over on that show with Christian and Griffin. Let's talk about Game 6 first. Then we'll talk about the other games, the other teams that have moved on. We'll wrap things up with our predictions before we get into talking about these first Game 5, or excuse me, Game 6. It is brought to you by Row One Brand. Go to row1brand.com. Follow them at The Cool Stub on Twitter. If you get anything in the art gallery, use code VSN15. You get 15% off everything in the art gallery. If you're looking for a stylish new sports themed watch, you can use VSN20 and you get 20% off your watch order. So Row One Brand is the presenting sponsor of this segment here. Game 6 between the Colorado Avalanche and Seattle Kraken. I would say that's the closest that this team has looked from last year to this year in the playoffs. Because that was
played all season. I would even say not even.
They did that a few times last season, so hopefully they can continue to do so, and we see a version of it tonight in Game 7. We have all these other things to talk about with Game 7s in the Colorado Avalanche. We know we have to get to all of it, but so far, like that, just having 2 shutdown periods where you control all of the action, you limit them to 4 shots in the second period of Game 6. You give them almost no chances in period 3.
It was 4 shots non power play. 4 shots on goal the last 2 periods that were non power play shots. I believe the stat was not just second quarter. Or not second quarter. Fuck, there's not quarters in hockey. The second period, there was 4 shots on net by the Seattle Kraken non power play minutes. So that's such a big kudos to what the Avs did.
They were able to really just hunker down, and this was the game that we were expecting at some point this series. I'm glad that we were able to get it. And really, all in all, there wasn't too much extra drama that came out of it as well. There's only the few things that pretty much everyone is aware of already. But to start things off, being able to bounce back, show that mental resiliency after they almost scored the first goal of the series for the first time.
God,
yes, he's offside. He is offside. It's one of the only calls that they've gotten right so far in the playoffs. So I'm going to give the referees that. He was offside. So, yeah, you have to take it back. And, yeah, the Kraken score for the first time in 6 games in a row now. So they're loving life over there. But coming back, getting that tie at the end of the first period, knowing that in the second period you were going to come out and absolutely put one on them. And that's exactly what they did. But being able to get that first goal, I believe it was Mikko. Right? Mikko got the first one.
I believe that if the Avs did not score that first goal or that goal at the end of the first, I think that they might have lost Game 6. Plain and simple. I think you get that momentum going to the second and third. I think that lifted everything in my opinion. So, Yeah, I that was massive. It was Miko, I believe, and
Miko got the first one. Then you have Lecky get 2 in the second period. Actually,
I'm
1
gonna
in the
say
second
is
period.
I did
EJ got
say
the second
Lecky.
one in the second period.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did.
EJ,
You did say Lecky.
Lecky
And
game winner, so
Lecky.
kind of a big deal, not a big deal.
No, EJ got the EJ was the game winner.
Oh,
Lecky was the extra icing on the
okay.
cake. That was the first time that we've scored on like a set face-off play, 5-on-5 in this series, is what it seems like with that Lecky goal. Because it literally went
It
McKinnon,
was tic-tac-toe.
Taves, McCarr,
In a
McKinnon,
minute.
Rantanen. All of a sudden, Lecky's got it, and it's in the back of the net. Oh my goodness! What are we? Where was this? Why
Where
did
the
we have to
fuck?
wait till now? We don't have
Why?
to. We don't have to kill everyone in Denver because we were all feeling it. Everyone was in the same spot. I went through the entire day at school on Friday, and literally, I have one girl who plays hockey. She's on like one of the traveling teams. So we talk about it, and she goes, "I don't know. I did not recognize that team." I said, "Yeah, no, I didn't recognize them either. I haven't recognized them yet this playoff series so far. That was the first time I've recognized them as my Colorado Avalanche." I still think that's the best game they've played so far. They can play better.
No,
They
they
can play better
absolutely can.
because Georgie gave up the one, was able to bounce back and not give up the thing the rest of the game. This team has another level to them. I think that's what's the scariest thing.
They absolutely do. And then you want to talk about on the Seattle side. Look, clinching a game is one of the hardest things to do in sports, especially hockey. And you don't think that the Colorado Avalanche and their resilience to get back to a point where, yeah, we can get to a game 7 at home. It wasn't a deterrent factor. Look, we said Yanni Gord and Brandon Tanev and the rest of some or a lot of those guys on the Kraken team have cup experience, have experience winning cup games, series clinching games. But it's different when it's a whole group of guys that don't know how to do it. Plain and simple. A whole group of guys that don't know how to do it together. So it's going to be, and when you do that, it shows who the real team is. Plain and simple. It shows who the real team is. And the Avalanche came to play on game 6. And I believe them that we're going to see a similar energy and similar will to win in game 7 because Seattle right now it was riding on the depth. At some point, the depth's butts got real clenched. Real clenched. Not your fucking Libre style, okay? That shit clenched real tight because all of a sudden when you were up 1-0, you're like, holy shit, we can do it. And then that doubt. After that Miko goal and at the end of the first one in, that doubt went into your mind. That oh shit, this is gonna be harder than we thought. They're not gonna go away. They're not gonna go away. And so, like I said, now first ever game 7 in franchise history. First ever game 7 for a lot of those guys. And like I said, Grubauer, you put a King Grubauer stand the bright lights. He wasn't able to do it here. Like I said, when the lights shined brightest, Grubauer got injured and Grubauer just fell apart. Plain and simple. It's why the Washington Capitals, where you want to go way back in time, and I believe it was 2017 or maybe 2018. That's why they went with Braden Holtby in net after Grubauer was the number 1 guy for the whole year. So we'll see. We'll see. Is all I'm gonna say.
It has been a long time. There's a lot that we have to get to. I'm going to save that more for the preview side of things. I think the one other thing that I want to touch on from Game 6 is this issue with Jordan Eberle, Andrew Cogliano, because that is an evolving situation. Initially, afterwards, it looked like he was going to be able to come back.
He went back on the ice.
Fine.
Yeah,
he did finish the rest of the game, and now he has played hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs with a broken thumb, broken finger, and now a broken hand. Andrew Cogliano is falling. He's one of those iron people. If that happened to anybody else, I don't think that they get up off the ice initially. They don't get it. Yeah. They won't be able to come back into the game. So he deserves a lot of kudos. But unfortunately, he's now out indefinitely, not going to be available for Game 7 tonight, which sucks because he's a leader in the locker room. He's a pest on the ice. He makes sure that those guys like Logan O'Connor, the Alex Newhooks, the depth pieces for the Avalanche, they understand their roles. They're there to be pesky. Don't let guys come up, free up the ice, and forecheck like your life depends on it, because you're going to open up chances for the better players that are around you. And if Andrew Cogliano is not available for the rest of the playoffs, along with the laundry list of other players that we right now do not have left for the playoffs, it's going to suck. But it does not mean that the Avalanche are going to not be able to overcome things moving forward. However, why is Jordan Eberle's situation any different than Cale Makar's situation?
Both
players in this case.
The situation is that Cogliano isn't a pussy like Jared McCann is, and didn't lay on the ice for 15 minutes.
I get that Georgie Parros only sees like 2 clips and whatever is brought in front of him, so that maybe it was a little bit too late. They still both those guys are injured, out, not coming back for the series.
He prepares for hits. Plain simple. Or McCann's dumbass decided, this is hockey. I'm against the boards. I'm probably there's no way I get hit, right? It's not going to happen, right? No. Cogliano is a tougher guy, tougher will than McCann's dumbass. Plain simple. And McCann's injury, yeah, it was bad, but there's a chance that if Seattle moves on, that he's back. Cogliano's done for the season. He's done for the season. Like that neck injury, C5, I believe it was. There's no, take the rest of the series off and hopefully be back for round 2. No. And I get it that Cogliano is not the level of player to this team that Jared McCann is, but McCann is to the Kraken. But at the same time, the league has shown that, plain simple, it does not care. It figures they let the league figure out that they let teams figure out that you're going to police yourselves because we don't know how to police it ourselves. We're going to let you do it yourself because we can't do it ourselves.
It is one of the more frustrating things because right now that is losing a player. Like I said, it's not necessarily loss of too much production that's on the ice, but it's going to be seen. It's going to be felt. If things happen a certain way tonight, that could be the reason and the catalyst that Seattle is able to overcome. And we see them possibly moving on after this Game 7 is because Andrew Cogliano won't be available and he won't be able to have his presence out there. Now, all of the rest of the guys, the Darren Helms, the Gabriel Landeskog's, you're going to rely on people who aren't necessarily known as vocal leaders to be able to get guys in the right situations. And I really hope that they're able to do so. Let's look around the rest of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs for now. We'll get back to the Colorado Avalanche, give more predictions, though. So our predictions for the do or die Game 7 are coming up. But let's talk first about the game that's going on currently. The Boston Bruins are now down 2-0.
Boston!
As we are speaking.
No. It's like the President's Trophy curse is real, Jimmy. It's like that. It is like it is something. For 2 years, 3 years. It's crazy. Winning his team in NHL history, about to lose a 3-1 lead. Look, this is Golden State Warriors-esque. Right? It absolutely is, except the Warriors made the finals. You're losing to the fucking 8 seed. You're losing, or not the 8 seed, but the wild card team, the last team
in the playoffs. The very last team. Brandon Montour, Sam Reinhart right now with the 2 goals. Jeremy Swayman is playing in this game. He's given up two goals on 13 shots for an .846 live save percentage as we're talking about this. Sergei Bobrovsky's only faced 9 shots on the other side. So
Boston, what happened? Oh no!
Don't mush it. Don't mush it.
It's
Boston is a very good team.
Mush it. If you win this game, I'll give you your kudos. And
I don't want them to win this game. I want them done. I want them
I'm going to rub it in. What happened, Boston? Everyone was saying you're the Cup favorites. Oh no! You're unbeatable, Jimmy. That's what I was told. They're unbeatable. No one can touch them, Jimmy. Unbeatable. Oh no, that's tough, ain't it? Sucks. It sucks when you actually have to play hockey games, huh? That the regular it sucks when you want. I mean, you can hang a banner in that Boston Arena President's Trophy, and you can rate first round exit right after it. You can go ahead, go for it. I don't give a fuck that you have that record.
Join the ranks of the Nashville Predators.
What did Jordan say about the 73-10 record? Right, 73-10 don't mean a thing without the ring. Warriors, same thing. 73-9 don't mean a thing without the ring. How many points they have? 150. So something stupid don't mean a thing without the ring.
Very, very stupid. Give me a second, and I'll get that pulled up.
They don't mean a thing without the ring. And Florida has just said, yeah, I don't care. They're playing the loosest they've ever been. And this team decided in the offseason they're going to build themselves for the playoffs, right? The Kachuk trade was for the playoffs. The depth pieces they made was for the playoffs. not a regular season team. They won the President's Trophy last year. They were I think it was a second round exit.
They got swept in the second round by
Swept
Tampa.
in the second round by Tampa Bay. Exactly. So it's funny. It's like that trophy has a curse on it, right?
You ready for this? You ready? 65, 12, and 5 on the season for 135 points.
Don't mean anything without the ring.
A goal differential of plus 128, which was the highest, as I'm scrolling through this quickly now, that was the highest goal differential of any team by 60 goals, was the next closest of any team. You were legit the best regular season team this league has ever seen.
Of all time. That's not even fucking close. Yeah. Let's clap them up, Jimmy. Clap it up. Let's give Boston a hand because they're unbeatable, Jimmy.
We're shipping it. Q ship it up to Boston. Conor McGregor. Let's go in. Parade.
Unbeatable. This team is unbeatable except for 3 games in a row, I guess. Unbeatable.
That would be insane if they ended up. I don't know if it's going to happen.
If they come back and win this game, we'll take back everything we just said. But down 2-0, Game 7.
I don't know if I'm going to take back too much of what I said. If nothing else, this is going to give me more energy to come back next week and go, listen, we said if the Leafs can win their first round series against the Lightning, which they did, which is what we're going to talk about next, that is a hell of a matchup for the Boston Bruins that they don't want to get into right now. Boston's looking over there like, fuck. Do we really want to win this game? If we let Florida win this Game 7, yes, we have to deal with that shame for the rest of the summer. But we're not going to get embarrassed by our original 6 rival in the second round. That's not going to happen.
It's been nine straight, Jimmy. I just saw statistics as I'm watching this game live as well. 9 straight President's Trophy winners that haven't made it past the second round.
You don't want to be the best team in the regular season.
10 years ago was the Chicago Blackhawks who won the cup. So that's the only coup de grace, I guess, that changes everything. But that literally was a decade ago. Was the last time someone who won that cursed trophy won.
Yeah.
Jimmy, there's a reason why last year we were all saying, don't fucking win it. Don't win the trophy. Lose some games at the end of the year. I don't care how it happens. Lose some games because it doesn't matter if you're number 1 in the West. That's all that matters. We don't want that trophy.
Matters. All that matters is you do not want to win that trophy. Let's turn our attention towards the other side of that mini quadrant of the bracket. Toronto wins in Toronto. They get the monkey off their back after 24 long years. They did. They won in Tampa. They did win in Tampa. Everybody wins everything in Tampa. I should have known. You always win in Tampa. If we know one thing, hopefully our guys at We the Thunder are listening to us right now. If you want to win something significant, go to Tampa. You're going to do it. 24 years. It is no longer. You cannot any longer say that these 24-year-old Leafs. 19 years. Since 2004. For the first time since 2004, the Toronto Maple Leafs can say that they've won a playoff series in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. So congratulations to them. They get their flowers. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and company prove that they are superstars that can make it, and they can win a playoff series. They aren't going to stroke away 3-1 leads to the day that they die.
And all I want to know, and all I want to say is that, yeah, I was all over Tampa Bay winning this series. I'll say it. But there's been not a bigger supporter from Austin Matthews of shows that we listened to in a long time. Maybe Paul Bissonnette. That's the only one. I fucking love this Leafs team. I really do. That's why I said it's either you're going to win this series or you're going to Cup final. Plain and simple. It's the best team in the East, in my opinion. Plain and simple. It is the best team in the East. I don't think Carolina has it. Obviously, Boston fucking has it out for themselves. Are going to kick. Boston just got one back, but they have it out for themselves in Game 7. The Canes, I said no. What's the other season? Rangers and Devils. No. It's the best team right now coming out of the East could be Toronto. Very easily could be Toronto. So I believe in the Leafs, and they got the monkey off their back. Now I believe that they're set up for a run. Look, Tampa Bay, you had a historic run, 3 Cup finals in a row. 2 of them, obviously, you're winning. But like I said, it's going to be the first time since before COVID that the Eastern Conference will be represented by someone not named the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. The last team that wasn't the Tampa Bay Lightning that represented the Eastern Conference was Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
When Ovi had his epic celebration with the cup and everything like that. The game the other night, the 3 stars, John Tavares, Ilya Samsonov for the Leafs. So these guys, all we've talked about really for the last few years, the reason why we've been able to say that the Leafs can never get past the first round and why it's been such a point of contention is because they've put so much investment into this team anyways, and it just never seems to work out well. Those are two guys that you invested in. Ilya Samsonov was brought in to replace the goaltending that they thought was subpar last season. He's done so. He's got them to a place where they haven't been before. John Tavares is the captain of the team, one of the weirdest captains in the entire league. Was a guy that they brought in from New York, and they said, we're going to build around you, hopefully, and bring in these superstars that you're going to help mold in Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. And now those guys can say that they've accomplished one thing on their goal list. Now they don't have to hear about it anymore, right? They're going to answer all the questions leading into figuring out who their next round matchup is. Once that matchup is set, now you don't have to hear about the fact that this team hasn't won a playoff series in X amount of years. Now you just get to worry about the series that's in front of you, and sometimes that's the most freeing thing, getting those shackles off of you, not having to worry about some sort of external curse. I mean, I felt it this season with being just a Bengals fan. Like going into the playoffs this year, I didn't have to say it's been since the 80s that we won last. You know how to do this. Let's continue on. Figure out how far this thing can go. I think that they're a very talented team. I agree with you that they could very easily be the representative of the Eastern Conference right now, especially with the way that Boston's looking.
I think it's their East lose. That's simple. It's weird saying that about the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it should be their Eastern Conference lose.
Yes. Other side of the Eastern Conference, we mentioned that the Devils and Rangers, they are tied. They will have Game 7 tomorrow. So maybe when we do our die Game 7 predictions later on for the Avalanche, we'll do one for them as well. We'll do them first. But the Carolina Hurricanes do stave off elimination. They win 2 road playoff games to beat the New York Islanders. One thing that we've always said about the Hurricanes is that they don't win playoff games on the road.
But closed out in 5 and did it in 6, weirdly enough.
And you have to throw back in Freddie Anderson, which I feel like is really early to have that card being played in your deck. You know, you don't always want to throw things out there quite so often. I think the fact that you couldn't get through New York with Antti Ranta should show you that maybe this isn't going to be the team. It was set up to be a great run, and you were going to get, like we said, Pacioretty was going to be considered like an extra trade deadline acquisition, and then he goes down. You don't expect that. You don't expect other guys to be hurt and having to deal with the depth. The guys that should have been playing maybe 15 minutes a night are suddenly playing 25, 28 minutes a night, and it exposes them. And in the playoffs, it exposes them even more. This Hurricanes team, I think, was set up to be that way. They don't have that star power left over, and I think they're going to struggle. It's hard for me to sit here and say that I see them beating either the Rangers or the Devils. I think the Rangers and the Devils both have a clear shot to the conference finals series at least.
I agree. I agree. I think we're seeing something similar to what the Hurricanes did in the first round last year. They won home games. They won home games every single game, and because they had home ice in Game 7, so why they won. I think they lost in 5 to New York in the second round, or it might have been of 6, whatever it was. Like I said, I don't think that this team has the offensive firepower to be sustainable for X amount of games. Plain and simple. They're well coached. They're very well coached. They're very good defensively as well. But I just don't think that this team can score offensively with what Jack Hughes is doing in New Jersey, or what Zibanejad and company is going to do in New York. Plain and simple.
Yeah. No, I think they have a lot riding against them right now, and that's going to be one of the series where they're going to need a lot to go their way. They're going to have a lot of extra luck that they're going to be relying on. And if you rely on luck, that normally isn't the best strategy moving forward. Moving over to the Western Conference side, let's talk about this specific matchup. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights with Mark Stone and company over there. Alex Pietrangelo leading the charge from the back end. Vegas is a good team. We know about that firsthand from when they eliminated us a couple years ago. But is this team going to be able to stand up to the 2 best players, arguably the best players in the world, in Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? What are you expecting from this one?
I expect Edmonton to win. I really do. I think that Edmonton is. I think they had to lose some games against the Kings to realize, oh fuck, we're really gonna blow this with McDavid. I think they're a much better team. I think their goaltending is so much better than last year's. My God, Jack Campbell makes such a big difference compared to fucking Mike Smith. Oh man, it's night and day. And I think that the Knights have much more offensive firepower than they did 2 years ago when they played us, or 3 years ago, whenever it was when they played us. Plain and simple. Jack Eichel obviously is a big time component of that. So I would be. I'm betting on the Oilers. I think that the Oilers. Actually, I'm not betting, but I am in my mind. I will be betting on the Oilers. Plain and simple. So I think that they win the series. I really do. I think their offensive firepower is too much, and I think Jack Campbell can match anything that either Jonathan Quick or I think it's Thompson. I think not Logan Thompson. Who's the goalie?
That. I'll get it in a second.
Either way, I just still think that Edmonton has all the juice and that I think they're ready. I think this team is prepared for a cup final run. It would be funny.
Brossois.
Brossois, okay. Not
that is
about either. So whether they go with him
Laurent
or
Brossois.
I think they're going to see a flurry of shots, and I think that Edmonton wins the series ultimately.
A flurry of shots. Was that a pun, Nico? Are you working in a pun there?
Just a little bit. Sorry.
A little bit. It is. We've already mentioned the fact that they should be ashamed of themselves for losing this year. But the Minnesota Wild once again struggling to do anything that they just can't get out of the first round. They now hold the record for the longest time.
Worst cap hit in the league too. Like they're gonna lose guys. Yeah. It's not getting better. It's not. You're still paying Parise, who's playing for the Islanders, I think $50 million. You're still paying Dumba a stupid amount of money. Like this team is not gonna get much better. I hate to tell you that.
No,
it's not.
It is not, and I think that they are. I mean, the only people that you're there to blame are guys like Billy Guerin, the GM. It's something
they try to build a championship team right away, and they decided we're not going to get past the second round. I think at the maximum still past the first round since Billy Guerin took over. Even it might be so. There's a reason why they say built not bought, and Minnesota tried to buy their ways quickly into being contenders with all the trades they did and doing all that with Hartman and Parise trade, and you go down and listen to bad trades and signings they did. It comes full circle. Plain and simple, it comes full circle. So Minnesota's going to have question marks. It's either A, total rebuild and just leave Kaprizov on the team, or run it back with the same team, and that team is not anywhere near the top of the West.
No, and I think too. Let's look at the other side of this thing in the Dallas Stars, specifically Jake Ottinger, and I'm getting those stats pulled up now, but we said that he was going to be a handful. He was a handful so far this season in the postseason. 6 games, he was 4-2 with a 1.83 goals against and a 929 save percentage right now.
He's been very, very, very good.
He's going to make life hell for either the Kraken or the Avalanche, but he makes it so much easier. Life's so easy on the Dallas Stars. It's reminiscent of he's not on that level yet, but like Vasilevsky, he's reminiscent of the Waz and the Balfours of the yesteryears, where guys are like Brodeurs that can sit back there, take everything that the other team has to offer, and know that they're going to be able to stand up and back their guys up 100%. So Jake Ottinger definitely proved to be a difference maker in that series.
Ottinger is him, and I think Ottinger does have all the capabilities of leading this team to where they want to be. Plain and simple. Yeah. That's why like I said, the Avs have to take care of business tonight. But like I said, I think the Stars should be the favorites going into the Avs series. Plain and simple.
Avs or Kraken.
They'll be
let you say it.
Yeah, Avs or Kraken. They'll be the favorites in either series easily.
They will be, and they should have. I mean, they were right there at the end too with the Colorado Avalanche for winning the Central. They could have been playing the Seattle Kraken just as easily in the first round as the Colorado Avalanche. But Jake Ottinger was a huge momentum shift, and you're getting that reminiscent production of guys like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin that weren't necessarily the healthiest, but winning that series in 6 games. After everybody predicted it was going to be a 7-round body blow series. Boston, by the way, just scored, so it's cut in half 2-1 with 7:47 left in the second.
I did say that about 10 minutes ago. That's okay, though.
You know, I'm trying to do a lot of things. I'm running a lot of different things around in my head.
It's a live show. That's why we're live.
Yeah, no, I had to give I gave an extra update for those people who just tuned in. Duh. I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not that I'm not listening to you. let's do it. Let's get into our do or die Game 7 predictions. Seattle Kraken, Colorado Avalanche, 8 p.m. coming up in about 2 hours. If you're in Colorado with us, there are some nerves. There are some things that we should address. Not going to have Andrew Cogliano. Everybody knows that. Not sure if we're going to have Manson. I haven't looked to see if he's going to be in the
I wouldn't
lineup,
put
but
Manson in the lineup.
I wouldn't.
I'm
I wouldn't
sorry,
mess
I
with
would
it. I
not.
think everything that you
Absolutely.
did. Everything that you did in the last game, you should try and replicate as much as you can. You're obviously going to have to replace that Cogliano piece on his line, but the Colorado Avalanche have not won a Game 7 since 2003. It has been since the last time, the second to last time that they won the Cup, that last game against New Jersey.
And I'm pretty sure the last Game 7 at home was that Minnesota game in 2013 with Wall behind the bench too. So it's been a while.
Yeah. So it's a lot, and Game 7s are tough in general. Closeout games are tough, and both teams are in a closeout situation now. You'd like to say that the Avalanche are going to be able to rely on their experience, and I think you are. You just have that possibility, and that's what I'm going to bring up first. Is Seattle going to be able to ignore the bright lights, ignore everything, and do what we say a lot about a lot of these different teams and a lot of different sports? Are they going to be aware that they shouldn't be able to handle this pressure? Are they going to be aware that they shouldn't be able to be in this situation? Or are they going to say, fuck it, we don't have that awareness. We're just going to go out there. We're going to play as hard as we can. And are they going to be able to come away with this thing knowing that, do or die, the lights are the brightest that they can be. If they can get through this thing, get to the second round, who knows what can happen from there. But they're just as close to winning and going on to the next round as the Colorado Avalanche. I want to make sure that we're all well aware of that fact.
Oh, very, very, very much so. And look, I think that the Kraken, I expect a high energy game from them. I really do. I expect them to fly around. But like I said, if I'm the Avs, there's a couple of things that I think are key factors. One, don't let this Everly thing get to you. Don't. There's no need to scrap. There's no need to go at him and try to take a dirty hit and a penalty. There's no room for that. Don't put McDermott in lineup. Look, we are here to win cups, plain and simple. Like, we are not here to fucking win personal battles for a guy injuring. And I would love Cogliano back in the lineup, but plain and simple, we have bigger goals than getting back at a guy for what he did to one of our guys being out for the rest of the season. Okay. And I expect the Avs and Bednar to have that feeling and be like, do you know what's a task here? Do you know what's a task? We don't need to be taking stupid hits. We don't need to be taking stupid slashing penalties, stupid late hits on Eberle. They're going to try to poke you. They're going to egg you on. Plain and simple. You have to have the cooler head. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did last year. Bennington poked the bear. Stood your head, right? You got to be able to do that again. You cannot go out, take dumb penalties, try to send a message, and your only message you need to send is that the last game of Eberle's season this year will be tonight. That's the message you need to send. It's not a let's eat some fucking boards tonight. It's a shake my fucking hand, you pussy, after your ass is packing your bags and cleaning your locker when you get back to Seattle. That's how it should be. So that's what my key to this game is play your game. Because when you play your game like you did Game 5, there isn't many teams in the league that can beat you. There isn't. It doesn't matter the firepower that you're missing. It doesn't. There's not many teams that can beat the game that you can play up and down the ice, up and down on the ice, shots on net, not taking stupid penalties. Not many teams that can beat you, but doing that.
They have established that this team can play that style of hockey, and you are seeing the leaders of this team step up in the moments that they need to. That Eric Johnson goal was the first time that he scored since last year's Cup final. He had gone 90-plus shots without putting the puck in the back of the net, but you saw it. He gets that goal. It energized him to the point where it energized the rest of the team to the point where you got Lecky scoring 2 goals after that. And guys are putting themselves in situations. That was the biggest thing. Yeah, you still didn't get much depth scoring. I'm not going to count Lekkonen's goal as depth scoring. EJ's possibly, but the depth is at least threatening now. Nieto looked like he was going to get a goal. O'Connor was pesky. I still think Logan O'Connor is going to score in this series. I think in order for the Colorado Avalanche to win, Logan O'Connor, Alex Newhook, or one of those other guys, Ben Myers, are going to have to score in this series. Matt Nieto, just playing the game that you need to play. Don't let guys get behind you. Don't turn the puck over in your own end. If you play a solid, sound hockey game, Colorado Avalanche are a good enough team that you can just win. You don't have to win 8-1. You don't have to impress anybody. It's all just about getting to the next round of the playoffs, because when you get to the next round of the playoffs, we've already established goals are going to be very hard to come by. So learn how to win these close games early. Make this a tried and true playoff game where it's going to be battling in the corners. Think about that. That game-winning goal was a battle in the corner where McKinnon got slashed and tripped and knocked down and swiped at in the corner. He keeps the puck on his stick with one hand, shovels it up somehow to Eric Johnson, and Eric Johnson buries it. Like, that was a battle. It was a grimy goal, and that was the game-winning goal. It stood up as the game-winning goal for the Colorado Avalanche to win that game and push the series to this Game 7. We could have not been talking about this tonight. Yet that griminess is there.
There's pressure on the Seattle Kraken. There obviously is pressure on the Colorado Avalanche, right? Cup champs losing in the first round. But what pressure makes fucking diamonds, plain and simple. And those diamonds that were on that championship ring last year showed the pressure that the Colorado Avalanche were able to combat last year. So doing that again this year, having a chance to right the wrong of going down 3-2, losing a Game 5 at home, you have that opportunity. You absolutely have that opportunity.
We do have that opportunity. Let's get into predictions. We're starting off with prediction for Game 7 of New York and New Jersey. What do you think is going to happen between the Rangers and Devils Game 7? Who do you think goes on and plays the Hurricanes in round 2?
I'm going to say New York because I still think New York's a much better team. I think they showed a lot in Game 6. New Jersey's been a hell of a story. I gave them all the praise on Friday. I think now I'm going to give all that praise to New York. So give me those boys for the Rangers.
All right. I think that the Rangers are going to win as well. The only place that the Devils are going to win and move on into the next round of the playoffs is on my PlayStation 4 and my career with me playing center for the New Jersey Devils. Game 7 for the Colorado Avalanche and Seattle Kraken. I'm having the time of my life trying to think about how this team is going to move forward. Niko, what are you expecting from tonight? What's your prediction for Game 7?
My prediction for Game 7 is a 3-2 win. I thought it was going to be a 3-2 win. I'm going to say 3-2 win in regards to the Avs, and I think somehow that the Avs are able to get the first goal.
I think that is going to be one of the keys, but they've been working towards it the entire series. So I think that it's not the farthest out there thing to say that they should be able to make that first step.
Let's not give them one goal to start the game. Can we please just not do that again?
Georgiev's two, by the way. You in our last episode on Friday, you gave me crap for saying that it was going to be a shutout. It was very close. Like, other than that one, Georgiev came back and responded well, and he's played. He has been. I want to make sure that no matter what happens tonight, Georgiev established that he is good enough to be the goaltender for this team for the next 3 years or however long his contract is, because he stood up in the playoffs and he has not been the reason that this team has been losing goals.
Absolutely has not. So you have to let the guys in front of you take care of business of what they need to do, in my opinion. So, and I think they will. I think, like I said, I'm just praying no overtime, for fuck's sake. Please don't.
Yeah, please no.
Don't do that to my fucking.
I got to get up tomorrow and teach. I need to be able to sleep even just a little bit. I know that
I want to sleep, and I don't want to fucking have all that stress. Please just do not do that to me, because the Game 7 against Minnesota 10 years ago, God, I fucking want to sleep over that game. So let's not do that again, please.
Yeah, let's not. Okay, that is going to bring us to the end of this bonus episode. Your predictions for Do or Die Game 7s brought to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you download the SeatGeek app if you're looking to go to Game 7. I doubt that there's much left that you're going to find many deals on, but that's why SeatGeek was invented. Download the app. Use promo code VSN on your first purchase. You'll get $20 off. Find yourself in the can for Game 7 of the first round, or if you're looking for whatever matchup, you're possibly Game 2 for the Nuggets coming up, and then all the other playoff matchups that we talked about so far. We'll be back on our normal day, Thursday next week. We'll recap all of the playoffs up to that point. We'll also talk about what happened in the draft. The Bengals, I think, looked solid. The Broncos had a few picks later on in the rounds, and then, everybody got pretty good coming out of it, or at least that's what it looks like all the time.
Well, that's what everyone hopes.
Yeah, that's what everybody hopes for. Thank you, everybody, very much for tuning in live. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you missed any part about it, you can go back and listen on demand, all podcasting platforms. Make sure that you're followed, subscribe to YouTube, leave a like, a comment, follow Variety Sports Network at Variety_Sports_. Really proud to be affiliated with them. And yeah, hopefully moving forward, we have some great stuff to talk about. Go Avs. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.